Hello, and welcome back to Election Time News, your one-stop political summations, poll reviews, nonpartisan predictions, and reviews and compilations on other political forecasters. Today is Friday, October 18th, 2024, and today I'll be getting into early vote data. The first look into early vote data here on NBC News. This is the only source I could really find that has all the numbers here. And so I'll just be generally explaining what some of this data could mean. I'm going to be basically just factual here. I'm not going to put any of this into my predictions or talk about what it could end up meaning, just what this raw data is saying. And so if you like content like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I'll be giving weekly updates on my presidential election predictions every Tuesday, leading all the way up to the video with my final prediction on the morning of Election Day. Also, I give updates to the Senate race every Thursday now, so the one came out yesterday. Make sure to check that out if you haven't already. I have a goal of 500 subscribers by Election Day, so do me a favor and click on that bright red button below so that you make sure you don't miss any future content. Also, make sure to join the Discord, get alerts when I upload, take part in an election simulation to test your prediction skills, and more. The link will be in the description. So looking here at our early vote data, quite a few states have it open, basically the entire East Coast minus Rhode Island. And then, additionally, basically every single state except for the Central South region has it open. And so, quite a few people have gotten to early voting already. Both sides now are promoting early voting this cycle. So, it's definitely a very tight race here, as you can see, as far as the presidential prediction map goes. So this early voting could definitely be quite a bit of an indicator as to who may end up having the lead at this point in time. It's a very, very tight race again. So every single vote counts here, and this could be an indicator to how most of these votes go. So most of these I'm mainly gonna look at the more swingy states here, which again are going to be states of Arizona, Nevada, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Georgia. So these are the main swing states this cycle. There's a few swingy states such as Minnesota, Iowa, Ohio, Florida, Texas, New Mexico, Alaska. You want to count those. So some of those are a bit swingy, but not necessarily, very close. So, but mainly I'm going to be focusing on the main swing states, the ones that will basically absolutely decide the election. So to start things out is going to be the state of Arizona. So looking at this early voting data here, we can see that there have been 75,690 mail-in and early in-person votes cast in the state of Arizona. So now, basically, originally you might think, okay, well, these aren't actual votes. They do not know until they open these, and they cannot open them until Election Day. But because of how polarized the country is, basically, every single one that comes in from a registered Democrat is going to be a Democratic vote. Almost every single vote from a registered Republican is going to be a Republican vote. And then these independents are going to be completely different. But based on that, still, you can end up basically guessing that this is they're all going to be Republican votes. These are basically all going to be Democratic votes. And of course, you can look at crosstabs in polls from the state of Arizona, for example, in this one, which would show basically how likely it is that each vote is going to be for each party. I believe it's 95-5 for Republicans and 96-3 or so for Democrats, somewhere right around there. So they're very, very high. Basically, you can just assume. So here it appears that the Republicans actually have a slight lead in the state of Arizona as of this point. Independents, I believe, in Arizona are slightly Republican tilted. So it definitely appears that this live update is going to keep on going. Currently, Harris has just finished a campaign rally in Wisconsin, and Tim Walz is in North Carolina. But so they might keep on going, but don't focus on that. We have this right here. So basically, these 32 are going to essentially be all for Kamala Harris, and this 47%, very good numbers for Trump, are going to be for him. And then also he has a lead here. So Trump is doing very well so far in the state of Arizona. And even these mail-in ballots requested, most of them have actually been requested by Republicans. So this is looking very good for Donald Trump in the state of Arizona. Now, of course, there might be a chance that there's going to be a bit more of a Democratic show out on election night, as there was a bit more of a show out for the Democratic Party in 2022 than there was in 2020. But in general, I don't see it going up by way too much, as it can be seen as relatively efficient for some groups, especially the older populations, instead of going in to vote, even though they might go back just due to tradition. So here it looks like that Donald Trump is doing relatively well in the state of Arizona as of right now. So that almost just shows that he is most likely to win. Now, again, I'm not really going to be going too much into what it all could mean or whatnot. I'm just going to be going into the raw data here. Now, next up after Arizona I'm going to do next door Nevada. State of Nevada, 6,686 mail-in and early in-person votes cast. That's really not that much, but Republicans are holding a commanding lead here. Definitely very close, very strong lead. 40% registered Republicans here. Now, I think that independents do tend to actually go a bit more Democratic, but there's a lot more Republicans than Democrats in the state of Nevada. Quite a few independents are typically the ones that end up breaking for the Democrats to give them the 2-point wins or so, like we saw for Joe Biden in 2020. So, looking here, we can see that all of them are actually mail-in. They don't have any in-person as of right now. 50% are men. They typically go a bit more Republican. Women go a bit more Democratic. 9% unknown. So looking at some of these, you can kind of do some math to figure out about how many votes are going to be for each one, just based off of demographic information, especially if you have that information on the state. I was thinking about doing that, but I think that video would actually take too long, and I really didn't want to just have, a random hour-and-a-half long video on early vote results. Excuse me. So, moving on next up from Nevada, going from west to east, next up is going to be the state of Wisconsin. So, Wisconsin currently... It's taking a bit to load here, but, there we go. Alright, it is overwhelmingly Democratic here, which is a bit more what we expect from what we saw in 2020 to 2022. Very Democratic prevalence in the early voting, and I do believe, no, their in-person voting has not opened yet, or at least they don't have the first ones in yet. Quite a bit from women, so that probably does help the overall fact that there's going to be a lot of registered Democrats here. Not that many registered Republicans, so as of right now, this is actually looking very good for the Democrats in the state of Wisconsin. However, it's only 10 electoral votes, so it might not matter that much if, for example, Harris was going to win Arizona. It wouldn't matter, even if Trump did happen to win in Wisconsin, for example. Or, it doesn't matter if Harris wins Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, if Trump wins Michigan, or something along those lines. But next up is going to be the state of Michigan. Looking here at the results so far, overwhelming lead for Democrats, 55% looking for the Democrats. Half of these requested mail-in ballots, 2.1 million, and they are mainly for the Democrats. So we're going to look at relatively Republican votes on election night, so we're going to have to watch on that. Basically, here we're looking at 45% is going to be Republican and Republican-leaning independents. I believe independents turn slightly for Donald Trump in the state of Michigan. Again, I might be wrong. I haven't looked at the crosstabs in a little bit. But 55% for the Democrats. This is looking very good for the Democratic Party as far as this goes. But again, you can't call Donald Trump out in the state yet whatsoever. And in Pennsylvania, storm by Democrats, 66% for Democrats, and over 500,000 mail-in and early in-person votes counted, all mail-in ballots, so that's relatively impressive. They counted that much, or taken in that many ballots. But 66%, that is a commanding lead for Kamala Harris in the key swing state of Pennsylvania. This is quite a bit of a show that, a bit of support for, that there might be a blue wave coming for my video 2 days ago. But, that's where Eugene Tape Squad is from. So, looking here at 25% for registered Republicans, 9% for independents. That's probably going to, I think they split a bit Republican as well. Most independents across the country are splitting just a bit more for Donald Trump as of right now, but it's ridiculously close, like 52-48 or something. And so, is commanding lead for Democrats. Now, of course, that means that there's mostly going to be more Republicans showing on election night. So again, absolutely not called out for Donald Trump whatsoever. He is absolutely still in the running at this point in time. Looking in at North Carolina, assuming that, yep, I got it right, okay. 38% for Democrats, 27% for Republicans, 35% for independents. So this is going to be a huge call right here. If how the independents split their vote for Kamala Harris, there's only 64,000 early votes cast. They opened their in-person votes today, so that they're not going to have any results as of yet. This is going to be very interesting. The 1-to-1 for the mail-in ballots requested to how many were cast so far. Very good job in North Carolina for people turning them in proportionally. But lastly is going to be the state of Georgia, and they opened their early votes yesterday. Look at that, in-person early voting, 94%, easily dwarfed the 278,000 mail-in ballots requested, mostly from Democrats. But 48% from registered Democrats, 47%. So this is going to completely come down to the independents. And I believe in Georgia they do tilt Republican, so that is definitely going to help the Republican Party here. This is looking very good for the Republicans so far in the state of Georgia. There's definitely a possibility here. Depends on how in-person voting on election night comes out to how strong of a showing there is around the Atlanta region. But this is definitely looking very strong for Donald Trump here in the state of Georgia. Looking at age, 65 or over is also a strong showing, so that's definitely also good for Donald Trump. And just barely minority men, but mostly, but old women do typically tend to vote Republican as well, even though older men, 65 and older, are typically the group that will vote Republican the most. So looking here, again, very strong for Donald Trump in the state of Georgia. The Rust Belt seems to be a bit better for Kamala Harris. However, there's, definitely still questions thrown up in the air about how strong of a showing there will be in the rural regions of Pennsylvania and Michigan, as well as the central regions in Wisconsin. And then, of course, in Arizona and Nevada, Donald Trump also has relatively good-looking stats as far as that goes. So, thank you all again for watching. This is a short video, but this is just the first information as far as this goes. Georgia has 624,000 early votes cast, so that's a large sample size, but some of these other states have very, very few in there right now. So, this is definitely going to be an important thing to keep watching on, and make sure to check up on this. I'll be checking up on this every few days in my videos. And so again, thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss on future content. Again, of course, on Tuesday and Wednesday, I'll be doing an update to my presidential map, and then Thursday, of course, I will be doing my Senate map, which will be my second to last one for each of them. So, thank you all so much for watching, and have a fabulous rest of your day.